Okay, I want to put this together to take a look at what I've done for Cortex when it, as well as Sentinel Comics when it comes to Fantasy Grounds, because I've been using Roll20 for a whole bunch of years, and one of the problems we found with Cortex, plus in particular Smallville, and then as we move into Cortex Prime with anything there, is that the dice do not work particularly well in Roll20. So I was looking around trying to find something that would work better, and what I stumbled upon in Fantasy Grounds was the Morecore extension, the rule set that you can get for it. That and a little bit of tinkering actually made it a whole lot easier to play in online. So this is the kind of our opening landing page for our Persona campaign. We got the Fight in Eatonville Bat Squatches, which is where our campaign takes place. So for characters, we use this both for Sentinel Comics and for Smallville, Cortex Prime, essentially. We'll bring up one of the characters. So I went through, and in the Morecore, you actually can have a dice pool. So what I did is I went through, and the first thing I did is I came over to Options here, and if you scroll down, one says Dice Pool, I turned that on. And then I went through and I modified it so you can actually have more than 6 dice in the pool. But when I went through and I put the values, relationships, distinctions and stuff in, now all the player has to do, if I am Rachel's player, all I have to do is, if I'm using Justice, the popular define what Justice is, I just click the roll. If I hit distinctions, maybe her impulsive is what she's using, and the relationship, Garrett left without a word, if I see him again, I'm going to kill him. So then, she's got her kind of bad dice pool, 1d4 and 2d6. Maybe she's hoping for plot points, maybe she wants stress. You just grab it, you throw it into the chat, and it not only shows up, but it'll pop down here and tell you what each dice was, and throws them on here. So, if they challenge a relationship or value, they can just hit it 3 times to show up, and then we just have them come into here, and they would put like a C or something to show they challenged it. They would lower the die rating down here on the die string, which is just pool 1d6, which is what she's got for that. That pool 1d10 was maybe for something else. I may have made a mistake when I put that there. Then they can just hit the dice and roll that, and then the little C in there is to remind them that they've challenged it. So there's all extras and locations. You just kind of pop them in a few times, throw them out there. We've got a place where they can put stress and growth pool. They actually record their stress and growth pool up here in the notes, and this means that it makes it easier to actually play Cortex Prime. Now for Sentinel Comics, we went through and put, this is Rachel's persona when she is inside of someone's mind palace. And a few things still to fill out, like the principles and some of that information, but like powers, all she has to do is just click on one of the roles for the power, go to use the quality she wants, then click on whichever status she's got. Those are her 3 dice. Grab it, roll it, boom. They show up here. Use your mid die. In this case, it has to be a 7 because you got 5, 7, and 7. And all that stuff works pretty well. The abilities down here we wrote, like, it's one of those things you just hover over it for a second, it'll show up, or they can literally just hit that, pop it open, and then see what that is. Puts it all in one place. It's not perfect, but it definitely is working better than what we use with Roll20 and having a second die roller off on the side in order to hold it. And I was able to go through and put all the various things, like we had at baseball stadium was where the battle took place during the last session. So this is, I was able to pop this up. I'm going to do some stuff to make this a little more usable for all sorts of things. I just threw in a tracker there, which I had as a rollable table in Roll20, which I can't do here. And we would just move one of this over as that got further. From the token library, or from my tokens, I would throw in, on here, we had Sentinel Comics, every session stuff. I just had these, so I was able to throw on, oh, he's got a +2, boom, pop that in. Oh, someone's got a -3. You can't really write down what the actual hinder was in this, but that's a small sacrifice for everything else being a little bit easier. So while Fantasy Grounds is not perfect for what I'm looking for when it comes to running Sentinel Comics or Smallville, it goes a long way towards making that a whole lot better. So If you're looking to use one of these, feel free to drop a question if you're not quite sure. For the most part, I just took the character sheets. I renamed a couple things, all of which can be done in the actual character sheet. Like if I bring up Spring Heel Jack, if I want to change powers, literally click on there from whatever it was before, type in powers, and if you right-click here, you can create a new item, open it up. You can go. This is a test power. Just come down to the dice string, pool. We'll say 1d12, and I always put this up here, d12, so they know it's that. And now, all I got to do, it goes alphabetical order, which is not always great. Throw that in the pool, throw it into chat, and... Oops, that one may have been... This is a test. Hit the roll, comes down here. Yep, comes up a 1. So that is what we're doing to make this game, both these games, easier to use. Hope it helps if you are into either of these excellent games, and have a good one.